Who are the people you amuse?
Oh, neighbours.
Got nice neighbours in your part of Shropshire?
Oh, perfectly horrid. Oh, never speak to one of them.
Oh, immensely you must amuse them. By the way, Shropshire is your county, is it not?
Eh? Shropshire? Oh, yes, of course.
Oh, hello. Why all these cups? Why cucumber sandwiches? Why such reckless extravagance in one so young? Who's coming to tea?
Merely Aunt Augusta and Gwendolen.
Oh, how perfectly delightful.
Yes, well, that is all very well, my dear fellow, but I'm afraid that Aunt Augusta won't quite approve of your being here.
May I ask why?
My dear fellow, the way you flirt with Gwendolen is perfectly disgraceful. It is almost as bad as the way Gwendolen flirts with you.
I'm in love with Gwendolen. I've come up to town expressly to propose to her.
I thought you had said you'd come up for pleasure. I call that business.
How utterly unromantic you are.
Quite the contrary, I can't see anything romantic in proposing. Well, it is very romantic to be in love, but there is nothing romantic about a definite proposal. Why, one may be accepted. One usually is, I believe. Then the excitement is all over. The real essence of romance is uncertainty. If I ever get married, I'll certainly try to forget that fact.
No doubt about that, dear Algy. The divorce court was specially invented for people whose memories are so curiously constituted.
No, there is no use speculating on the subject. Divorces are made in Please don't touch that. They're made specially for Aunt Augusta.
But you've been eating them all the time.
Oh, my dear fellow, she is my aunt. But have some bread and butter. The bread and butter is for Gwendolen. Gwendolen is devoted to bread and butter.
Very good bread and butter, it is too.
Oh, my dear fellow, you need not eat it as if you were going to eat it all. Really. You act as if you were married to her already. You are not married to her already, nor do I think you ever shall be.
Why on earth do you say that?
Well, in the first place, girls never marry the men they flirt with. Girls don't consider it right.
That's nonsense.
It isn't. It accounts for the extraordinary number of bachelors that one sees all over the place. In the second place, I don't give my consent.
Your consent?
My dear fellow, Gwendolen is my first cousin. And before I allow you to marry her, you will have to clear up the whole question of Cecily.
Cecily? What do you mean? What do you mean, Algy, by Cecily? I don't know anyone of the name Cecily.
Bring me that cigarette case that Mr. Worthing left here in the smoking room last time he dined.
Yes, sir. Do you mean to say that you have had my cigarette case all this time? I wish to goodness you'd let me know. I've been writing frantic letters to Scotland Yard about it. It's very nearly offering a large reward.
Well, I wish you would offer up one. I happen to be more than usually hard up.
There is no good offering a large reward now that the thing is found.
Well, I have to say I consider that most mean of you, Ernest. But it makes for no matter. For now that I read the inscription, I find that the thing isn't yours after all.
Of course it's mine. Look, you've seen me with it 100 times, and you've no right whatsoever to read what is written inside. Very ungentlemanly thing to read a private cigarette case.
It is absurd to have a hard and fast rule about what one should read and what one shouldn't read. Half of modern culture depends on what one shouldn't read.
I'm quite aware of that fact, and I don't propose to discuss modern culture. Isn't the sort of thing one should talk of in private. I simply want my cigarette case back.
But this isn't your cigarette case. This cigarette case is a gift from someone of the name of Cecily. Well, you just happened to say you didn't know anyone of that name.
Well, if you want to know, Cecily happens to be my aunt.
Your aunt?
Yes. Charming old lady she is too. Lives at Tunbridge Wells. Just give it back to me, Algy, please.
Yes, but why does she call herself Little Cecily if she is your aunt and lives at Tunbridge Wells? From little Cecily with her fondest love.
My dear fellow, what on earth is there in that? Look, some aunts are tall, some aunts are not tall. That is surely a matter that an aunt may be allowed to decide for herself. You seem to think that every aunt should be exactly like your aunt. Well, that's absurd. For heaven's sake, give me back my cigarette case.
Yes, but why does your aunt call you her uncle? From little Cecily with her fondest love to dear Uncle Jack.
Oh.
Well, there is no objection, I admit, to an aunt being a small aunt. But why an aunt, no matter what her size may be, should call her own nephew her uncle, I can't quite make out. Besides, your name isn't Jack, it's Ernest.
It isn't Ernest, it's Jack.
Well, you have always told me it was Ernest. I have introduced you to everyone I know as Ernest. You answer to the name of Ernest. You look as if your name is Ernest. You are the most earnest, looking person I ever saw in my life. Well, it is simply absurd to say that your name isn't Ernest. Look, it's on your business cards. Look, here's one of them. Mr. Ernest Worthing, B. for the Albany. I'll keep this as proof that your name is Ernest, if ever you attempt to deny it to me, to Gwendolen, or to anyone else for that matter.
My name is Ernest in town and Jack in the country. The cigarette case was given to me in the country.
That does not account for the fact that your small Aunt Cecily, who lives at Tunbridge Wells, calls you her uncle. Come on, old boy. I think you'd better be out for it.
My dear boy, you talk exactly as if you were a dentist. Very vulgar to talk like a dentist when one isn't a dentist.
Well,
it produces a false impression.
that is exactly what dentists do. Now, come on. Why are you Ernest in town and Jack in the country? I may mention that I've always suspected you of being a secret to confirmed Bunburyist. I'm quite sure now.
Bunburyist? What on earth do you mean by a Bunburyist?
I'll reveal to you the meaning of that incomparable expression when you reveal to me the meaning of why you are Ernest in town and Jack in the country.
Well, produce my cigarette case first.
Here it is. Now, produce your explanation and pray make it improbable.
My dear fellow, there's nothing improbable about my explanation at all. In fact, it's perfectly ordinary. The late Mr. Thomas Cardew, who adopted me when I was only a little boy, well, he made me, in his will, guardian to his granddaughter, Miss Cecily Cardew. Cecily, who addresses me as her uncle, out of motives of respect that you could not possibly appreciate, lives at my place in the country, under the charge of her admirable governess, Miss Prism.